Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is where we left off at the end of my last video. I had put this tray together. This is going to be the base tray for the high humidity planter that's going to receive its water from the powered underbarrel filter that I've been setting up. And at the time, I had asked if anyone wanted me to show the steps I go through to calibrate this and get it set up and have it ready for, doing what it needs to do, which is filter the aquarium. A couple of people said, sure, they'd like to see that stuff, and I thought I'd just put, a quick video together showing you, the simple steps I usually go through for setting that sort of thing up. As it turns out, it's going to have to be done in two videos. This is the first video, and I'm going to get that tray up and running. It took too long for me to get that adjusted. Normally it's just a quick process, but this pump supplies an awful lot more water than, obviously the air-driven systems that I've been using. And there were some adjustments that need to be made to that tray so that it will flow properly and also sit sufficiently above the water line and all that sort of stuff so that everything would work. So what I've done here so far is I took out the spray nozzle that was on there. I just put on the straight pipe, and this is the elbow that's going to go up into that tray, and as you see, that's a nice amount of water. So far this is fine, and like I said, wasn't really too concerned at the moment, but the second I go and hook this up, those are clamps I'm going to use to hold it in place so I can make adjustments to it once I have it roughly where I want it to be. But as you're going to see here in a second, I'm going to set this in here. It is in backwards, by the way. It doesn't really matter. I just wanted to set it up roughly to see how quickly it's going to fill and what kind of flow I'm going to get. And as you see, it fills up really fast. I'm going to have, unfortunately, a lot of shots here with, most of it taken up by my arm. But I am going to show you here in a second. I'm going to let go of this here. And as you can see, that's a lot of water. And it is filling up way past where I want it to. There is a bit of a safety margin there, but as you know from my experiences and what I've shown you with the other high humidity planters, once you get a bunch of stuff in here and there's a lot of things growing and whatnot, there is a risk that this is going to overflow. And of course, it has just as much chance to overflow the sides of this as it does to overflow at the front. So yeah, things need to be done. You need to adjust this. I need to lower the amount of water it's going to be here. I know I wanted 3 inches, but it's just not going to work out that way. It's going to be too precarious as far as getting things to do what I want. So I clamp this into my mill here. As you see on the left, I have routed out a section that's lower now, and I'm going to do, or I should say, I am in the process of doing the same thing to the other side. It's not a hard process. But again, it's taking up a fair amount of time as far as what I had available today to go and do this, which is another reason why this is also being divided up into different sections. So the other thing I want to do was I set this up is I'm going to turn the pump off. I mean, that was part of the problem for getting this originally settled. I wanted to see what it looked like, of course, but to actually get this aligned properly, I need to have that not running because it's just too much weight on it for me to use those clamps and get it in place properly so I can measure where I want it to be. So now it's oriented in the right place. You see the troughs are on the front now, and I also, while off camera, I reinforced the 2 sections that I mentioned before and that center rib. So now if the water overflows a little bit more than it should, it is all going to go into the aquarium. So that's kind of important. I know I have a basement that's unfinished here, but I don't like having too much water on my basement floor because it just, it's not the best of things to have happen. It does eventually make it to the drain, but I don't want to get in the habit of having water all over the floor for sure. There you go. Clamping this in place. I'm going to make some minor adjustments, make sure that the filter is not, the pump I should say, is not having any undue pressure put on it in a downward angle, because that's one of the things that happened when I was just testing this out. It was pushing it down, and I don't want to do that. I want it to be flowing as straightforward as possible, just to make sure that, like I said, it doesn't put any pressure on the pump. These brackets I'm just using at the moment to measure how far up and down it needs to go. And what I'm going to do is just arrange that so that it is in the proper position and of course level. And then I'm going to weld those on. And then once they're welded on, I'm going to put this back into place and we can fire it up for real. So this is, well, it doesn't take long to weld. You see me do a lot of acrylic welding. So the brackets are welded on there now, and I'm just going to slide that into place, put the pump where it needs to be. And the nice thing about this setup is the tray, especially once the riser for the water, there's a pipe that goes into that elbow, and once that's in place, it brings the water up high enough and then sprays it into the system. And that is part of the process for holding this together without actually holding it together in the sense that it's difficult to take apart, because eventually this will need to be cleaned. So there you go. That is, well, the first step of this. The first step that I thought would take 10 minutes, but it ended up taking quite a while because I had to make all those adjustments. But now it's going to make sure it's level. And it turned out to be, not too bad. It was off maybe by a smidgen towards, well, a little down on the left-hand side there. But that's fine. It is going to have more than enough flow to compensate for that. So now, let's plug this thing in, and we will see how it goes. The other thing that needs to happen, of course, is this needs to run for a while before I can do the next step. So there you go. It's filling up, and now it's going to overflow into the aquarium, and there you go. It's actually a nice amount of flow. Probably more than I need. Actually, a lot more than I need. I know these things will run off an awful lot less water, but that's okay. I wanted to test what this is going to be like as well. So we'll see how, we shall see if it does anything different than the air-powered ones. Now, I may end up in time putting a little bit of deflector on those two troughs just to get it to go into the aquarium a little bit more. Not really necessary, but it might be something I'll add later on. So this is actually all I need to do for this first step. This is, well, functional now. I will let it run for a few days, make sure that I don't have any issues with this, and then we'll move on to the second stage. At the very end of this video, I am going to show you the fact that actually needs a fair amount of work too, because, again, I'm not compensating initially for the amount of water that's coming out of this. That's actually a surprising amount considering it is just a little dinky pump. So here we go. We're going to stick this over now. I'm going to stick that in. And as always, of course, leave comments. Let me think about all this. And yeah, I need to really adjust those holes. They're way too small. It's obviously going to be contained when the cap goes on top of this. But anyway, leave comments. I'll see you in the next video. And bye for now.